Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ridiculously Serious, a show where we draft teams from absolutely ridiculous categories and have a completely serious debate about them. My name is Mike, and I'm your host. As always, I'm joined by my co-hosts Joe and Brandy, who we're going to find out a little bit more about. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
I'm great. Just awesome.
Glad to hear it. If you could have one wish, but it had to be a selfish one, what would it be?
In lieu of being boring and, just asking for some unspendable amount of money, I figured I would focus on an item. And I think the item that I would like the most in the world would be the highest grade copy of an Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man 9.6.
9.6 is the highest copy. There is no 9.8 in existence.
I believe there's a 9.6. I think it's only one, too.
That would explain why it's so expensive. I had a feeling you were going to go the comic book route as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm boring. Expensive paper.
All right.
I probably would have just gone with the money.
Yeah, I mean, can't go wrong with money. All right, Brandy, if you could find out the truth about one mysterious thing from history, what would it be?
I want to know what's up with the Bermuda Triangle. Like,
sure.
Where did all the people go? The vehicles? I don't know if that's what you refer to them as. The boats and planes, I think, as well.
Sure.
That are just entirely gone. All those people gone.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely an interesting, maybe they're in outer space. Maybe they went through like a wormhole.
Oh.
I think that's actually
and they came out in a black hole.
I think that's actually the prevailing theory by like conspiracy people, isn't it? I think the prevailing theory is that there's a wormhole, like a type situation up in like the clouds in the Bermuda Triangle. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying I think that's what the conspiracy people believe is the case.
That was last episode, Mike.
It was last episode. That does lead in really well, though, to the reveal time. If you missed last week's episode, as Joe alluded to, we drafted the best conspiracy theories. It was possibly my favorite episode to date. We had a lot of fun with the conspiracy theories. Always a good time to talk about a bunch of wackadoodles. And some not so wackadoodles, because some might have had some merit.
Yeah.
But the winner of said conspiracy theory draft was Joe. Joe was the conspiracy winner. Yeah. Joe took that one home.
It was definitely the frogs. That's what got me there.
It was probably the frogs.
Probably
the frogs. Can't go wrong with the gay frogs. So we are going to move on to today's draft, which is best food to bring to a food fight. So there are no real rules for this one, but just so the listeners understand what we're going for, this is a food fight, not a food war. You're not trying to kill the other people. So picks like apples are definitely not what we're looking for. We are very much looking for fun over physical harm for the purpose of the voting. So we're going to go ahead and find out who drafts or who gets to pick their draft order first. So let's go ahead. I feel like I always start with Brandy, so we'll mix it up a little this week. Joe, you can have the first pick of the numbers.
13.
I had a feeling you were going to go there as soon as I gave you the first pick. I thought you were going to take that back.
Yeah.
All right, Brandy, go ahead.
53.
All right. I guess I'll just go on the high side then, and I will take 86. I'll go 86. So we have 13. You said 53, Brandy? All right, and 86. Yes. So let's see. We have 33. So you are both exactly 20 away. So we actually have a tie somehow for the random number generator. That is pretty ridiculous. Joe, no, Joe's coming off a win. So I feel like the fair tiebreaker is to give it to Brandy. So
I thought you were going to say like winner goes first.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the joke of what I was alluding to. But I like you better than Joe, and it was funnier to do it that way.
Do you?
So...
Because I absolutely hate going first.
Well, no, you don't go first. You get to pick first.
I know, but I can never choose. I like to just like follow behind at least what like one other person wants to do.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, okay, yeah.
All right, cool. So I took out 2 birds with 1 stone then. So even better.
Great.
So Brandy, go ahead. You get first pick of the draft slots.
I will go second.
Go second. All right, Joseph, what would you like? You want first or third?
I want third. Sorry, I'm having an issue where my TV keeps turning on and playing Switchfoot, and I think Rob Lavin's controlling it.
That is definitely gonna impede the show a little bit if you continuously have Switchfoot being played through the audio.
Yeah.
I don't know how copyright works on that too. Might get a copyright strike on the.
Yeah.
All right, so Joe's gonna go third. I will take first then. So I'll pick first, then Brandy second, then Joe third. All right, so to kick off the draft, it's actually tough. I didn't really want to go first because I have like the pick that I want the most, but there's no way in hell either of you are picking it because I went very abstract. So I'm just going to save that to last. But then like I'm a little worried that I'm not going to get it because I really want it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely not wasting a first pick on it. So I think what I'm going to do instead is take my second pick, which is mashed potatoes.
Solid.
Yeah, so like the way I see it is they're very versatile and they also have a very wide attack range. Like if you just get like, I don't know how well you'd be able to like throw it with your hand, but even then I feel like a lot of times mashed potatoes do kind of stick together a little bit, so you probably could throw it with your hand okay. But if you get like a good like spoon, or like if you're in school and you get one of those like the paper lunch trays, I don't know if they even use those anymore, but we had like those brown like paper, cardboard, whatever they were, lunch trays. You just put mashed potatoes. It's a styrofoam. They might have been styrofoam, but you put the mashed potatoes like all on one side and then you just fling it, and you basically have like a trebuchet, because it's the superior siege weapon to a catapult. So we're going to say it's a trebuchet. And I feel like if there's a bunch of people on the other side, you can like hit everybody all at once. Like you just get a full spray of mashed potatoes.
See, I feel like they're more dense than that.
You don't think they'll spread out really? I feel like as they're flying through the air, they'll kind of.
One of the big issues is that you're gonna. It's not super efficient in the fact that, some of it's gonna stick to you or whatever you fling it from.
Sure, that's
the only
fair.
issue that I thought about this one. I thought about picking it, but for that reason, you're not getting as much bang for your buck.
You're gonna lose some ammo, for sure, in the process. So I can't disagree with that. But all right, so that is the first overall pick. Brandy, you chose to pick second, so you have that pick now.
I actually had mashed potatoes as my second pick as well. But I'm going to pick this one first just for the fact that I want this one a lot. I don't even know if you both would have it, but I feel like it is just the ultimate food fight food. And that really specific, but Hostess brand snowballs.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Because they have like a filling inside.
Sure.
Right? And then they also have the outside, which I feel like is kind of messy. Like if you get hit with that, like you're going to be a mess. And I imagine they're just the perfect throwing shape and size to pick up like just enough velocity to be good.
That is good. I will say that didn't cross my mind, but that is a very strong first pick, I think.
I like that one.
Yeah, I mean it's basically what the size of like a tennis ball, right? You could throw it pretty good.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get some heat on it for sure.
It's solid. Can be really messy too.
You get like
that's what I was going for.
Yeah, you get coconut shrapnel too, because snowballs are all coconut, right? Shavings on the outside.
Yeah. They're terrible. I hate them.
Yeah, they're awful.
For a food fight.
It's actually so funny that you say that and that I didn't think of it at all, because I actually had this conversation with my wife yesterday about snowballs, because we saw snowballs. We were out. It was our niece's birthday and she loves snowballs, so she got a box of snowballs. It's like, with a gift. So I joked to my wife, I was like, snowballs are one of those things that nobody likes them. Like you either love them or you hate them. Like there's no in between. There's such
I don't like them personally.
No, I hate them because I hate coconut. So like it's such a drastic. Yeah.
And chocolate. So
I love
there's
coconut.
that.
I like chocolate, but I don't like coconut. All right, Joe, you have the first wraparound pick of the draft.
All right, so I pretty much conceded what I thought was going to be my first pick, thinking that one of you would pick it, but somehow it made it to me. Eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good one.
Eggs are so good. I have them on my list.
Perfectly solid, easy to grab, throw, doesn't make a mess on your side, but as soon as it hits over there, you got not only the goop and stuff inside, like which can be like slippery, sticky, all that, but you also got like really annoying pieces of the eggshell. Not gonna cut anyone, it's not like sharp or anything like that, but stepping on it barefoot or leaning on it in some way, that's kind of annoying. So that's I think it's perfect.
I'm not gonna argue that.
Yeah, I'm a little sad. So I went in a similar. I had peeled hard-boiled eggs on my list because I felt like the issue with just raw eggs is that they could explode on your side. Like when you go to throw them, if you grip them too hard, to throw them, then they explode in your hand and stuff. So I figured like a hard-boiled egg, it still gets that explosion. Like it still explodes all over, but it's not as like goopy.
Yeah, but like my personal goal is like it's like mess. Like
sure.
You want to not be on the other side of whatever I'm throwing.
Which reminds me, I have something to talk about after we finish our draft involving food fights and my personal experience.
Sure.
So I'm going to take my second pick now. Something I also thought might go early, but I'm glad it hasn't. We got a 2-in-1 combo weapon here in the banana. You take the banana out, you throw it, it's gunky, goopy, kind of smells weird. Like no one wants banana on them, especially if it's like a real ripe one that's real mushy and stuff.
Like a brown one.
Hello, Mario Kart, harkening back to that, you have a second weapon,
sure,
for your food fight in a something that someone doesn't want to land on them. That can cover vision, that could hit someone, get more banana goop on them, or kind of be like a landmine on the floor as far as some slippage there. So banana.
Sure. Yeah, fun fact. If you were having a food fight with me and you chose banana, you would immediately win said food fight because I cannot be in the same room as an open banana. I have an extreme aversion to the smell of bananas, like to the point where it makes me actually sick. So like you would immediately win a food fight with me by showing up with bananas. Like that is basically my version.
Immediate withdrawal.
That's like my version of bringing a gun to a knife fight. Is you bringing a banana to a food fight? Like that's it. I'm out. I'm done. Like me and my little switchblade are out of here. Like
you got a banana? I'm out.
That's it. Done.
Bring a banana to a gunfight.
All right, Brandy, how about you go ahead and bring us your second pick?
Oh, yes. Okay, man. This is kind of along the lines as my first one, and they're not all going to be this way. It just happened this way, but it's for the same reason as my first pick. I like jelly donuts.
Okay.
Because I feel it for the same reason, but I feel like they're a little bit more messy on the inside.
Sure.
And I would go for optimal mess.
Yeah, you definitely went the mess direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, powdered outside's good too.
Yes, that was my thinking.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong, messy start from you for sure. I have to say, if you're doing like a team, yours has very good chemistry. As a team, you got very similar, picks that are going to play well together. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that's a good pick. All right, I will take it to the wraparound. I think I will take the one I want just to make sure I get it, even though I guarantee you guys aren't going to pick it. I'll give it the privilege of being my second pick as opposed to third. Not that it actually matters, but so picture this, right? Because I picked this for one reason only. Because I went back, like the past few weeks, I've taken it a little more seriously, and then this week I went back to a little bit abstract and a little bit silly. So I just want you to picture like you're in the cafeteria with your friends. You know, this is like a school-based food fight. You know, things are getting intense, heating up a little bit. You know, there's some raw eggs flying around. Now stuff's starting to get crazy, you know. And then all of a sudden, as you're ducking for cover, you look up, and across the room, because everybody had one of these and all decided to do it at the same time, across the room flies just dozens of hot dogs. Just dozens of hot dogs. No bun.
To hit you in the face.
Yeah, no bun. Like no bun, no condiment. Just the actual hot dogs. Just like think about them flying through the air. Like, and they do like the wiggle through the air.
Yeah. Oh my God. I enjoy that thoroughly.
So, you know, I don't know how that would actually work for a food fight. Like, it wouldn't do any damage. Like, it doesn't explode or anything. It'll just hit somebody like in the chest and like flop to the ground. But I mean, just the mental picture that I created for myself by thinking of like dozens of like flopping hot dogs flying across the room was enough for me to really, really want to pick that.
But also, I feel like, especially in the high school cafeteria setting or school cafeteria setting in general, that has so much more of a lasting effect than like somebody that got hit with a jelly donut.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, remember Mike got hit in the face with a hot dog at the food fight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially if you get hit somewhere like sensitive, like you get hit in the eyeball with a hot dog. You know, they're going to talk about that. You're wearing an eye patch to school for the next week. And everybody's talking about how you got hit in the eyeball by a hot dog.
Your reputation is ruined.
Yeah, that's it. Game over. So I'm going for the psychological. I'm not trying to win the food fight. I'm trying to win the food war. I'm going for the long term, the psychological like defeat of the entire person's like being.
Sure.
It just got real. All right. So for that third pick. Again, my next pick is one I think I can sit on because I don't think you guys are going to take it. I do need a ruling. I think I know where this is going to fall. I had donut holes on my list. Are we lumping that in with jelly donuts? Like, is that just all donut related products?
I think it's different enough.
Do you think it's different enough? Because that will be what I take if we rule that it's different enough.
I think it is different enough because of the fact that I was debating on if donut or donut hole.
And I was better. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So then I will take donut holes then. So I like what you did with the jelly donuts. I went kind of the other way because I did think about specific donuts, but then I thought, what's better than one donut? A whole arsenal of donuts. Like think about what you get with donut holes. You get the chocolate frosted. I don't know if you guys have had those recently. They are compact. Like you can throw those things. Dense. They are dense, right? And then you get jelly donuts. Now there's not anywhere near the same amount of jelly, but you get that little, splash, that little blotch of jelly. Yeah. You get glazed, which is the sticky factor. Definitely if you hit somebody kind of in the face, then they're going to be like, messing with their face and distracted from the fight because they're gonna have all glaze all over their face and everything. So I feel like the amount of options you have with donut holes really lends itself, to the fight.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now I didn't think of the variety pack there with that. I was just thinking of one specific type, and I couldn't agree with myself on one, so I just went with jelly donuts because they're big gross mess.
Yeah, I think you definitely I think you made the right choice in like if you were going to pick just one, I think you did make the right choice in that one. I think it would be between jelly and Bavarian cream, but I feel like the jelly would be stickier. Like the Bavarian cream is like messy, but like the jelly is gonna stick on you and like be a nuisance. Gross. Yeah, jelly's gross. All right, so Brandy, we have your third pick.
All right, I'm still going with velocity and mess here, so I'm gonna go with meatballs.
Oh, I thought that would make it back. I had that. I was between that and donut holes.
Like meatballs with sauce on them, obviously, because who eats bare meatballs? They're terrible. They're terrible on their own. And sauce makes them slightly less unbearable.
Yeah, I'm not a meatball guy.
No, but I feel like you would still get kind of that shrapnel a little bit.
Oh, they're going to explode for sure.
Yeah. And then the sauce is just like once that hits, I feel like it's going to have like a little paintball reaction there.
Yeah, if they're
Yeah.
properly cooked meatballs, they will definitely explode. Now, if you have a crappy cook, then they're going to be all hard and compact, and they'll probably just break apart. But if you have like a good, like Italian grandma meatball, they'll explode everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely plays. All right, Joe, back to you for the wraparound.
All right, so with my first two picks, I've got the combo weapon, I've got the projectile exploding one. I wanted something a little bit more unique. Specifically, I was thinking unique in how you are, how you release this weaponry to the other side. So I was thinking, what could you throw, like kind of like a discus or a frisbee? Some foods, flat. So I was going through a lot of things, and a lot of them were too brittle. I felt like they would fall apart. Then I got it. And this one's great because you got some stickiness from the syrup. I'm talking about waffles.
Waffles.
Waffles
All right.
specifically, even more than the other flatter breakfast foods and things like that, which aren't quite as strong. A waffle is a little bit crispier, a little bit more
Sure.
strong
Sure.
of a composition, covered in a little bit of syrup for extra sticky factor and supreme annoyance when it hits the other side. I'm going with waffles.
You got those
So
pockets for extra syrup.
sure.
as
Oh
opposed
yeah.
to,
Mhm. Load it up.
It's competitor where it just absorbs it all, so that wouldn't make nearly as much mess.
Yeah, no, pancake
Like
wouldn't work
waffle.
at all. Pancake,
Yeah, no.
leaving pancake aside was definitely the right choice. So
Yeah.
now I do have an important question though.
Yeah.
Possibly the most important question of the night.
Square or round?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm obviously round.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's funny that you say obviously round because I actually would have gone square.
Really?
Yeah, because square I think will do more damage when it hits people.
Yeah, that's. I guess it would be more annoying to hit by corners, but I don't think you can be as accurate with square.
Yeah.
I think the round's going to give you more accuracy, and that's why I went with the round.
I feel like the disc kind of general shape of waffles. I actually don't know if that's true. I think square and circle would probably be about the same accuracy. I think it's still pretty easy to just fling it like a frisbee.
Well, we'll get 2 cases of Eggos next time we go and play frisbee golf, and we'll see distance and accuracy.
We might have to
which one's
try it.
better.
We might have to try. I feel like that's an experiment that now needs to happen.
I'm genuinely interested.
I will say too, square waffles tend to be thicker, which will allow for more syrup holding. Like in the not necessarily thicker, but the divots tend to be deeper. So you get a little more syrup in there, whereas the circle ones tend to just be kind of like bumpy more than like having like the divots.
Yeah, are we talking pizza now? Like deep dish pizzas or square? Like I feel like we've gone off a different way, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with circular ones.
Sure. So circular waffles, and then you get your fourth pick.
Yeah, my fourth pick. Surprised this didn't go. Kind of going along with what Mike was talking about with his first pick. And the mashed potatoes, something, a projectile you can fling using a trebuchet or something like that, a fork, spoon, spatula. But I was thinking what might be better than mashed potatoes would be macaroni and cheese. Reason being,
Nice.
you don't leave as much behind, and it doesn't, where mashed potatoes kind of does like spread out kind of evenly because it is more of like a flowy thing. There's chunks in the macaroni and cheese, and that's gross. And not only that, but like cheese will stick to you and will like seep into your clothes. And if you like drop cheese on your shirt, like it's there until you wash that shirt. You can't like get all that cheese out.
Sure.
Very sticky like that. So super annoying to get hit by. I'm talking like not like good macaroni and cheese. I'm talking about like some like low quality like Velveeta or something.
Not
Oh.
like baked mac,
Yeah.
but like wet mac.
Yeah,
Gross.
you guys are really going for maximum annoyance, which I can
Yeah.
appreciate for sure.
Yeah, it's a food fight.
That is funny. All right, so waffles and mac and cheese. All right, so we got Brandy for her fourth.
Yes. So, in this scenario that I'm imagining, food fights I feel like are just kind of a free for all most of the time. Some of this I was for some reason picturing teams, but this one not so much, where it is just a free for all. And I just love that so much. But I want to go with baked beans.
Okay. Sure.
It's a mess, like sticky, I feel like if you just go with your hand, it's going everywhere. You're covering a lot of ground with baked
Sure.
beans.
Yeah.
Super sticky, smelly, and gross. And then also, if you do decide to use your hands, I'm imagining there's going to be somebody nearby that you can just immediately get with baked bean hand as well.
Baked bean hand.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I feel like that's funny back to back, like mac and cheese and baked beans, because I feel like they're basically the same pick, like the same
Yeah.
justification. Like,
Similar.
I already
Similar.
had
very,
it
very
lined up.
similar. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, mac and cheese is a good pick. So then you got to say baked beans is a good pick because it's, like I said, they're extremely similar.
No, you gotta say it's a better pick.
Well, you did add the
Anyway.
smell in, to be fair.
No.
She did add the smell in.
That's true. But
Dang.
big bean juice is not nearly as sticky as like Velveeta.
It's like straight syrup.
It's
It's more watery.
they're
Yeah.
both pretty sticky. I feel like that's definitely a tough contest.
That's gross.
Unlike the waffles, though, we will not be testing that one. I do not want to like be dunked in baked bean juice and mac and cheese. Cheese. We'll
Maybe
stick
just
to the
mix them
waffles.
Noted.
together in a kiddie pool. Just see how disgusting it is. I'm not doing in it, but somebody else.
We'll
I'm
put
sure
that.
somebody
That'll
else
be
will.
like an extra episode. People have to pay for
Yeah.
that one.
I'm sure there's a spot on Craigslist for that.
All right, so I'm gonna finish up my draft here, picks 4 and 5. So I guess the order doesn't matter. So I'm gonna have to decide on the 5th, but the 4th one, this is my first kind of like, not like you guys had a couple things I feel like that were like specific things. Might have been kind of general. This is my first like kind of specific entity, which is Gushers. So the way I see it is there's not really much else, and this is kind of similar to the donut holes. I don't think there's much else that's that small that also has like an exploding aspect to it. So like the way I see it is you just get a whole like handful of Gushers and you just kind of like, you just spray them out. And you're like
Scattershot.
exactly, you're kind of like your own little IED. You just kind of fling Gushers everywhere. You're going to hit a lot of people. There might be some friendly fire. Let's be real. Like, there's a good chance of friendly fire. You get the little explosions. And then those things are like 99.3% sugar. So, like, if that juice gets on you, like on your skin, that's going to be annoying. That's going to, like, because it's not even going to be like, it's going to be sticky, but it's not even that. It's going to, like, dry and get and then it's gonna be like your skin's kind of get like tight and like pinched together from like from like the hair. It's really gonna get you. So that was the one pick I did that was like for like maximum annoyance. You're gonna be pretty disappointed if you get gush or gunk all over like your arm or your leg hair. That's not gonna be a fun time.
No.
That's if it comes out.
That
I feel like
is
they're
if
a
it comes
little
out.
harder to get them to explode.
Especially now. I feel like when we were kids, like they would just fall apart in your mouth.
Yeah.
Now they're
thinner.
Yeah, now they're thicker.
To be fair, I haven't had Gushers in probably 15 years, so I was not aware that they got thicker.
Should have done your research, Mike.
Normally thicker is better. But
I just want
guess
the
in this
audience to know
point-
you did not do your research.
I did not research the Gushers. I have completely let myself down. I would like to apologize to the audience and to my fellow co-hosts for really shirking my responsibilities
Way to go.
as host. So I feel, should I forfeit my 5th pick? Is that what's happening? Should I just kind of...
Now we'll let it slide.
All right, so this one is tough because I have to say this was the first week that there was a lot of overlap because I had 4 backup picks or 4 like picks that I wanted even taken. So I'm quite low on my list now. I only have I think I only have 3 things left that haven't been picked. And the truth be told, I don't love any of them. They were really like my just in case, I gotta have something so I don't have to like do random research in a hurry on the show. I should have saved hot dogs. That's on me. I wouldn't have had this issue if I saved hot dogs. Definitely could have done that. So I think what I'm gonna do is, no, you know what? I literally just changed my mind the last second. I'm gonna go cupcakes. I'm gonna go cupcakes because I feel like they could work twofold. And I didn't think of this till just now, which is why I changed my mind last second. But one is the icing on top. That's going to be a pain in the ass. You get icing all over you. That's going to be awful. And two is, I believe they also do stuffed cupcakes. Like, I think you can have like stuff in the cupcakes.
Sure.
So, and those, if anybody's eating a cupcake, those things come apart immediately. Like, there's a 0% chance those things stay together. So, like, whatever is inside that cupcake is coming out once it hits somebody. So you get both the icing and whatever the filling is, which, to be fair, the filling's also probably icing. It's like, I think that's just what they fill it with, is like icing or cream. But yeah, so I feel like that'll definitely be, but it's more localized. Like, you're not hitting more than one person with a cupcake. Like, that's why it was a tough pick for me, because like a lot of my other picks were geared around like making sure I hit somebody. Whereas the cupcake, like, you get one shot at it. Like, if they duck, or if they dodge, or if they dip, or if they dive, or if they dodge, like, then you're gonna be out of luck. You used your ammo. So it is a little tough. You gotta have good accuracy, but I think when you do connect on them, you're gonna get a really nice, physical response from the cupcake and the other person. So that will wrap up my draft. That's all 5 of my picks. So we'll go back to Brandy to finish up her draft.
This is also one of those things where I don't have anything left that I absolutely love. Because I loved eggs so much. It was very high on my list. I had mashed potatoes. I had donut holes. There was a lot of overlap this week.
Sure.
But I think I'm going to go with, this is hard because I don't know if I want to go with this one, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go with Jell-O.
Okay.
Ooh.
Because I feel like there's a couple of different ways. You know how they have those Jell-O molds? I feel
Sure.
like, that could come in handy if there's some specific shapes, or even a cup of Jell-O. Because I feel like you can still get a nice grip on, like, if you take it out of the cup, obviously.
I was gonna say, you're gonna hit somebody with the whole plastic cup like that. That seems mean-spirited.
But if you can get it out of the cup, I feel like you can get a good hold on that. But also, just like the feeling of getting slapped with a wet like mass is probably not ideal for whoever's on the receiving end. So I think I'm gonna stick with Jell-O.
Yes. So the only thing about Jell-O, I think when it hits, you're right. It's a good, it's a good item. It's a good food when it hits. I thought of Jell-O, and I just think it's going to be so hard to actually throw and control, I think is going to be your issue. I think it's going to be really tough, because I just see, like, you almost have to kind of like cup it and like just kind of scoop it. So the accuracy is not going to be the best. Because I think if you try to like throw it, I think it'll honestly just kind of go through your fingers a little bit, like as you're trying to throw it.
Depends on the density.
But I will say, I give you a little bit of extra points in my book for talking about the shapes, because that definitely upped it up, a new level. I just picture you like standing in your kitchen, like cutting out like Jell-O stars and like the moon, crescent moon and stuff. And your roommate walks down and is like, "Ooh, Jell-O shapes." You're like, "No, these are not for you. These
are weapons.
these are food fight Jell-O shapes." Just putting in so much prep work for the, we get to the food fight and Brandy whips out like this Tupperware of like layered Jell-O shapes she's got.
That's absolutely something I would do.
Sure. So I will say, to be completely honest, I don't love Jell-O as a pick for the first reasons, but I do think it got bumped a little from the shapes. I will give you that. All right, Joe, finish us off.
All right. Okay, so I've tried to pick foods that are have different forms of delivery as far as using them. I saved this one for last because I figured none of you would do this, but this is something that I personally did a lot in the cafeteria through middle school and high school, and that is using baby carrots as a food war weaponry. How you do this is if you bite them in half and you squeeze them. Now, think about baby carrots, how they're shaped and kind of the texture of them. They're a little bit slimy, slippery, and if you squeeze them, they're rounded on the end. They shoot out. Like, no joke, they shoot out at like 60
Like a
miles an
bullet.
hour. Yeah, they fly across the room. Now, accuracy, you don't have it here. You kind of gotta be, continuously.
There's got to be a lot of people
firing them, and yeah, they're kind of more of like a projectile in that way that you kind of just fire and just hope it goes in the right direction. Close range, you can hit someone pretty easily. And they're really annoying when they hit you, especially if they dunk you in the head. It's like kind of like, what the heck was that? It doesn't hurt, but it's like really obnoxious.
So the only problem with that pick is I think after you bite them to get them in half, it becomes a biological weapon, which I think is against.
We don't need to bite them.
I think that's against the Geneva Convention. I'm not positive.
Yeah, a little bit, but you don't need to bite them though. That's just an option in order to have more.
I see.
If they're in half,
to have a little snacky while you're in the midst, just to keep your energy levels up.
To be fair, then you don't have more. If you're snacking on the half that you bit, then you still have the same amount.
Or you can spit the half that you bit at someone.
Yeah, but then it's not a snack.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if you didn't want to be wasteful in the food fight.
Oh, sure. No, I figured he was spitting out the half that he bit, but then you said you could also have a snack, but then you're still having the same amount is the issue. So you have the choice. You have to make the choice of whether you want a snack or whether you want more ammo. Is what I'm saying. You do that. That's a real Sophie's choice in the middle of a food fight.
That kind of goes for literally everything we just talked about because all of our ammo is food.
To be fair, you're the only one that talked about putting anything in their mouth. So
sure. I just was referencing because I would do that with my carrots. I would you
put carrots in your mouth. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I would eat 3/4 of them and then squeeze them and see if they hit anyone in the head.
See,
you had a weird childhood.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna go with what we used to do in lunch in school, which I'm assuming most people did this, where you take the ketchup packets and twist them in the middle, like as much as you possibly can. Because then the second you throw them and hit literally anything with them with any type of force at all, it could be the smallest amount of force, they explode everywhere.
So that actually brings me to what I wanted to talk about, and I didn't do this because it's actually multiple foods as well as an apparatus, if you will. I had an experience where I was not allowed to eat lunch in the cafeteria for the remainder of the school year. One year, I think it was like 99 days left of school too. It was like half the school year left. And I was given lunch detention every day for the rest of the year because I made what I called a condiment bomb. What I did was I took my paper bag that my parents, packed my lunch in and sent me off to school with. I took that paper bag and I went over to the pumps of ketchup, mustard, relish, mayo, and I filled the bag about halfway.
That's a lot.
Twisted the top. Yeah, it was. And then you just kind of throw it. You just give it a good hook shot, and whoever's table it lands on, it explodes like a bomb. It's just condiments everywhere. It's a liquid, a sockwood. I don't know. What do you call condiments? Going through paper.
They're
paper
plasma. They're plasma.
If I were the lunch aide in there, as opposed to just giving you lunch detention, I would have just punched you in the face.
we now know why Brandy's not a lunch aide.
Yeah,
for her
that's
job.
why I don't work for the school Board of Ed anymore.
Oh, Timmy, you didn't do your homework? Punch right in the face. Yeah. Joe, what grade did you say that was in?
I think that was 9th.
That's too old.
It might have been middle school. No, I think I'm pretty sure that was high school. I think it was 9th grade.
That is too old. You should not be doing that in high school.
14?
I feel like anything over 12 is not cool.
Well, the ketchup thing was in high school. That was probably way after freshman year too. We were just.
You guys are a mess.
Not great.
I did the carrots thing until I graduated.
You guys are an absolute mess.
I was sitting there in my Temple University shirt, about to graduate high school, flicking carrots at people.
Mess.
At you now.
Absolute mess. All right, so let's recap the team. So I ended up with mashed potatoes, hot dogs, donut holes, gushers, and cupcakes. Brandy has snowballs, jelly donuts, meatballs, baked beans, and jello. And Joe has eggs, bananas, waffles, mac and cheese, and torpedo baby carrots. So that is the results. That's the draft. Those are the teams. Go ahead and vote. Make sure you vote. Let's get some more votes in. The more votes, the better. We can get a true feel for the winner. The more votes we get. If you're enjoying the podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on the App Store. It's extremely helpful. Helps with the algorithm, gets more people to see us. We can do some, better, cooler content in the future. We'd really appreciate it. It takes, 10 seconds to do. Again, as always, if you have a good idea for a draft category, shoot me an email at ridiculouslyseriousPodcast@gmail.com. I've got a couple, not via email, just from people I know. I've got a couple recommendations that I like and we're going to use in future weeks. So I definitely will read them. I'll definitely listen to them and maybe use them on the show. But that is all that we have for today. Thank you for listening, and we will be back next week.